Hey everyone, and welcome to episode 4 of the Speaking of podcast, where we explore a variety of topics, share stories, and have engaging conversations. I'm Jack.
And I'm Stuart, but our conversations have a slight twist because each of us nominates a taboo topic for the week that we're not allowed to talk about. If the other person speaks about that taboo topic, then they lose the podcast for the week. And then at the end, if neither of us have spoken about the taboo topic, then we have to guess what the other person picked. But just a reminder, last week, I won the podcast because Jack spoke about the unseasonably warm weather in the UK. So I am 1-0 up. So have you got your taboo topic for this week, Jack?
I do, yes.
Cool. Okay. Well, let's dive in and see what we talk about this week. I'll defer to you. You can go first.
Well, first thing I wanted to talk about, and I really hope you haven't put this as a taboo topic because there was a lot to talk about, is the Olympics. And I've survived. And the Olympics roundup from the weekend because I watched quite a bit of it, a lot actually.
Did you? Now, last week you said you were not into it. You said you were not feeling the Olympics last week.
That's my point. So I watched a lot of it. I went to my dad's yesterday and I watched a few different events, but it was still a 4-hour chunk that I watched, which is a significant portion compared to last week. You're right. But the thing I wanted to talk to you about is 2 events in particular. Both of them are running events. I feel like track events always attract more attention.
Yeah, if you remember London 2012, I think that was when, what was it, Super Saturday? Was that the one where we had the track events and there were loads and loads of things going on and we won loads of medals?
Yeah. I
have noticed this week they've tried to label every day. So it's been like Wonderful Wednesday and Fantastic Friday and all of that. They're trying to just make it into a thing. But anyway, go for it, yeah.
So there was one thing that trended on Twitter last week, or X, whatever the platform is you want to name it as, that I didn't call out, which was a runner for the Netherlands. Her last name is Bol, B-O-L. Bol, maybe Bol, however you pronounce it. And she was trolled online for having a really high-pitched voice. And at first, to be honest, when I listened to the audio clip, I thought it might have been edited because it was really high-pitched. But actually, that's just the way that she speaks. It's her natural language and just how it comes across. But this weekend, she done something incredible. And it kind of put all of those trolls and haters to bed, which was she was doing a relay race with the Netherlands. And she was the last runner in the relay race. And she came from 4th to win out of all of the runners. And I would say she was significantly behind. And the position she took was well ahead of everyone else. So, I just thought, what an incredible story. Not only to go and win for your country, but actually to go and put all those trolls and haters to bed and not let them faze you by them just posting a lot about the way that you speak. So I thought it was interesting.
Yeah, so I've not seen a lot of the... so to be fair, I've not seen a lot of the Olympics coverage. So I was into it, and then I've kind of dropped off. And I think you were low, and you've kind of gone up. The only stuff I've seen is the stuff that's been kind of well spoken about online. So I've seen obviously the thing about the boxing match.
Yeah,
is that one of your things to? Is that one of your events to talk about? It's a really interesting topic. I'm not an expert in that area, and I won't pretend to be, but I think there's a lot of people giving opinions when they actually haven't even read beyond a headline or something they've seen in things like the Daily Mail or things like this. So I think there's a lot of incorrect opinions, factually incorrect opinions.
I agree, but I think that's the problem with social media. It inflates everything. You get a snapshot of what the actual truth is, or maybe not even the truth at all, and you inflate it to be whatever story you want it to come across as. But interesting issue. Here's one for you. Did you watch at least the 100-meter mile race?
I didn't, but I did see somebody complaining that the 100-meter men's race was like this massive event, but the same race for the women's was very much a damp squib. Like nobody really seemed to care about it in the same way as the men's events. I did see that online.
Yeah, so I like I said, I watched like a 4-hour chunk, I didn't even know that the women's race went before the men's race. The men's race was like so hyped up. There was clip after clip played. This person might win, that person might win. So it was really interesting. But there was, for the first time ever, normally like Usain Bolt was what we know as a 100-meter sprinter, goes and absolutely obliterates the competition by being a whole person ahead. In this instance, it was 0.0005 milliseconds. That's like...
Yeah.
That's closer margins than you'd ever get in a sport like Formula One, for example, which is just incredible.
It's bonkers. But on the flip side, I saw something about the cycling where I want to say he was a Belgian cyclist. He crossed the finish line like a minute before everybody else. And there was some footage of him, and he just he just parks up his bike, and then he just spends all his time putting his arms up in the air because he's waiting for everybody else. But lots of scandals. I saw some stuff about the Chinese men's swimming relay team. Apparently, they've had some challenges in the past with that their food has become accidentally contaminated and contained banned substances in the accidentally contaminated food, and apparently that's happened twice to them. So I saw about Olympics. That, and then so it had happened. So their food had become contaminated at a 2023 event and a 2017 event, something like that, in the swimming. But I think there's been some barbed comments about the Chinese men's swimming relay team. And then the only other stuff I've really seen for the Olympics have just been the funny memes and people talking about the amusing stuff online.
Yeah. I mean, I have one comment on the point you just made about the relay racing. That particularly, I think why that came up so prominent is because they were behind the US. The US were about to break a world record, and then in the last 20 meters, for example, they just absolutely came out of nowhere and won gold. So I see where it's coming from.
Yeah. So and I mean, it's not just the racing and stuff that there's been controversy around. We've had lots of complaints about the quality of the athletes' village, the accommodation, the food. We've been talking about countries sending over their own chefs to cook food. And what's interesting is that the Olympics has this, obviously, like all events, have a thing about sustainability. And I think there's a bit of a discourse going on about saying, can we afford this sustainability, balance that against the need for optimum performance and things like this? So, should athletes have to sleep on cardboard beds when they are competing for the race of their life, their one chance to make it through? And that's quite an interesting one, isn't it? To say, how important is sustainability when it's on a world stage like this? And how much more can they do? Because obviously there will be more and more of a drive each time round to say, how can we make this Olympics more sustainable than the last?
Yeah, it's going to get to the point as well where we end up building no villages anymore, Olympic villages. That won't be a thing, I don't think, for much longer, because it's just too much money.
Yeah, although they always get turned into something. So they always become a thing. I saw something the other day, actually, was talking about, I can't remember which train station it was in London, but they had Olympic rings up hanging in some of the train stations that came in, and there was a thing where someone was talking about what happened to that, and they cut them up. They cut these big steel Olympic rings. They cut them up and they made them into benches for people to sit on. And there's these slightly curved benches all up and down this train station. And nobody realised really that they are the Olympic rings that have been cut up and then repurposed into benching. So I think it doesn't matter if you build stuff or consume stuff as long as it gets converted into something else. It has a usage. Those Olympic villages become accommodation or whatever their purpose is. There has to be some kind of purpose. So I'm not saying that it should be waste for waste's sake, but but yeah, there's got to be some kind of limit, I'm sure.
Okay, last point about Olympics, and then you've
Okay.
probably got a more interesting topic to talk about. But did you know that part of the Eiffel Tower is inside of the medal that they get?
I did know that. Did you know what was in the box? You know, they all get given a box.
Yeah.
They all get given a medal in a box. Do you know what's in the box?
Well, my eyesight must be that bad because I thought it was like a lovely gold-plated little trophy, but actually it's a map. But I don't know what the map is of.
Yeah, it's like I think it's a piece of custom artwork that was designed by somebody. I think it's a poster that was designed for the Olympics.
Okay. I thought it looked like a map when I saw it on
Which
on
made
video.
me kind of go, medal and a poster. It might be a map on a poster. But you're like, yes, you've got a gold medal. Oh, and there's a poster that, like, you're 12 years old and you could stick up in your bedroom. I don't know where you're going to put it.
Yeah, fair point.
But yeah, interesting times. I don't even know how much longer we've got left. I think it's the 11th. I think it's the end of the Olympics this time round.
We're sixth at the moment, so we've still got time to get a little bit closer to maybe third.
I think there's been more debate this time around about how the medal table is organised than I've seen previously, because people are talking, even the US have changed the way on their own broadcasters on the way that they calculate the medal table depending on where they are in the medal table. So when they were ahead and they had lots of golds, they would use the gold first, then silver, then bronze method of calculating the table. But then when they were lower down, they then calculated the table based on total medals. And I've seen another talk where somebody's saying they should allocate points. So either a 3-2-1 points for gold, silver, and bronze. And then somebody came back and said, well, actually, it should be 7, 3, and 1 point, something like that.
It's all very complex.
So that each medal is worth 2 of the one below plus 1 point.
I like that. Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah. I preferred that one to the 3-2-1 for sure. Yeah,
that's a smart idea. I like that.
There you go. So so the thing I wanted to talk about was just about your Instagram. What when you get Instagram suggestions and things like this, what are the things that come up all the time for you? Because I've got these 2 chaps who keep appearing on my Instagram. Well, so one of them is these 2 French chaps called AT Frenchies, and they are these 2 French guys who went and they were living over in the US, and they made little videos just about funny ways that the French pronounce this or that or the other. And they probably kind of languished along in obscurity and then made one that was particularly funny, and it became like a viral moment and things like this. And so they're publishing a lot on my feed, on my suggestions, because they are one of the like partner hosts type thing for NBC, which kind of seems quite logical that they were in the US and they're French. So they come up a lot. But 2 that I wanted to mention were Ben Askins and Chris Donnelly. Do you have any of that? Have you seen their videos?
No idea.
These 2 chaps, they both do very similar videos. They both do like business type videos, and they used to work together, and they kind of not split up, but they started a business together. They sold off the business. They've kind of both gone off and done their own thing. But they both have reels type content where people send them in inappropriate conversations that they've had with their bosses.
Oh.
And it's things like, and quite a lot of the time, it's things like frontline worker conversations. It's not always frontline worker, but it's lots of things where people have said, they've sent a message to their boss saying, hey, look, I'm not going to be able to come in because I've been in a horrible car accident. I saw one the other day where somebody sent in a message saying, they went, I've been in a horrible car accident, sent the boss a photo of this completely mangled up car, like a really bad accident. And the boss just sent them back and said something that said, "So when are you going to be in? We don't have any excuses for being off work." And it's just all sorts of things like this, and things like this. And it's fascinating. It's fascinating. And I don't know whether it's just the way that they set up their graphics when they do it, because when it comes in, you see the conversation coming in little bits and bobs. But they always look like they're WhatsApp conversations. So it's the type of organisation to be using WhatsApp for their employee comms and things like this. But some people, some bosses are horrific. Some of these people should not be allowed to work, let alone manage people. It's all stuff like this. So they come up all the time on my feed. There's another one, and I can't remember what the guy's name is. Let me just find it.
Are we talking about
fried?
Are we talking about the Explore page as well?
No, not on the Explore page. These are just. Well, yeah. Oh, I suppose a bit. You've got to kind of get it in the first place, haven't you?
Yeah.
Suggest. So another one is Fenty Fried Chicken, and Fenty Fried Chicken is it's got about 283,000 followers. He was a finance person who's kind of moved into comedy, and he does all of this stuff about corporate culture, where he does, those kind of Instagram videos where they record everything. They record obviously one side of the conversation this way, and then they record the other side of the conversation the other way, and he plays this conversation between a worker and a boss, where it's something but he's got this real tone to it, like, "I guess you want to have the PowerPoint." "Yes, I do want to have the PowerPoint, even though I am not going to look at it." "Brilliant. I will spend extra time tonight working on the PowerPoint, knowing you will not watch it." It sounds, I don't do it justice. It's quite amusing. But I seem to have lots of things that kind of come up on my Explore page and suggestions of people who've been in corporate roles and have gone on to just make like comedy reels and stuff like this. So what's on your Explore page? What?
Wow, what's not on the Explore page? Just a lot of stuff to explore. But there is one thing I wanted to follow up with that, because it sounds very interesting. And I'm not sure if I sent you one already, but have you seen the guy that he records his, like a selfie video, records himself, and on it he has the filters of Office, Word, PowerPoint and Excel. So he's talking as if it's the applications.
Oh, I think I've seen one of those.
So he comes up in my Explore or suggestions all of the time, and it's sometimes the funniest content I've ever seen. It's like Outlook saying to everyone else, "I don't know, guys. I don't know why I'm not responding. I just know that I'm not going to be able to send this email. It's a big email." And then you've got Word saying, "I deal with words all the time. You can do this. Don't worry about it." So it's just, that's the type of like brilliant content I have suggested. I have to find the guy's name to actually just to recommend, because it's just fantastic. But that is definitely a side of desk.
Nerdy Microsoft.
It's fantastic, that one. And then the other one that keeps popping up, but I don't know why, and I kind of would love to understand why, is I keep getting... Do you know a guy called iShowSpeed? Or Speed, he might be known as? You don't know? Oh no, my God, this is going to show a difference here. I bet if you ask your children, they know. Speed. Basically, he keeps jumping over Lamborghinis as they drive at him at a super fast pace. And that is the content that he's making. I don't know why, but that's the content he's making. Jumping over Lamborghinis. So, very different to your content.
That's obviously what gets you the clicks. Is either comedy or... So comedy, acts of like impressive things. So obviously like jumping over very fast cars is the impressive thing. Or like complete monotony that people really enjoy. Like, I cleaned a driveway with a pressure washer or things like that. That kind of stuff, people go mad for monotonous stuff like that as well. I've got a comedy guy who comes up on mine. His name is Henry Rowley, and he's kind of got like this posh accent, and he does lots of different skits, But one of the ones which makes me wet myself is he does these skits of Harry Potter, and his language is vile in them. So I couldn't even repeat them on this podcast. But he is really funny. And Harry Potter in it is absolutely, he's like the worst person in the world. The worst person, absolutely. He's horrible. He is horrible to Ron. He talks about the chosen one. You're like, shut up, Ron. I am the chosen one. And some days he's so horrible. Henry Rowley with two Ys.
Okay, I'll check it out.
He's currently doing a turn at the Fringe at the end of the Fringe.
See? I mean, I think. What do you think about Instagram as a platform anyway nowadays? Like, I think some creators are super creative, and it is what it was made for. That bespoke, ingenious content that we all love and thrive from. Just watching and scrolling on.
I mean, what's interesting is I think that when you've got your feed, you see, and this is the perfect example of social media, where you see your view of the world and you kind of think everybody else must be seeing the content that I'm seeing. I could probably reel off a whole load of people who I see on my Instagram, and you probably go, nope, never heard of it. I've got a guy called That Corporate Lawyer who, again, he was a lawyer, and he's kind of moved out into doing comedy. There is a guy called George Lewis. George Lewis, it's a kind of like dad humor. He does things from the perspective of like toddlers and stuff like this. He's got like a to and fro one that he had the other day where he was playing two toddlers talking about what they were going to do. And they're like, yeah, well, what are you going to have for breakfast? And he's like, well, I was going to have toast with jam, and that has been my favourite for the last year, but today I just don't think I'm going to have it. And his mate goes, all right, so what are you going to do? I think I'm just going to throw it at the floor. What about drinks? Well, what I might do is drink the drink, put it in my mouth, and then I'll decide whether I actually want to keep it. And if I don't, I'll just dribble it down all my nice clean clothes. So he kind of plays this part of toddlers and things like this. But yeah, dad humour it is.
I think everyone loves dad of young humour. Kids. It doesn't matter if you're a dad or not. Everyone loves the genre. Right, Stu.
But yeah, so I think you only see your own view of the world through things like Instagram. So it's interesting to talk to other people about their experiences, because then you're like, oh, that's brand new. I know what you mean. Brand new content.
Speaking of, because you reminded me about when you said Harry Potter, you reminded me of one of my topics for the day, which is I actually don't know what your phobia is. What are you scared of? What do you dislike? What is the one thing that you go, nope, not my topic at all, running away, I'm gone? And I'll start to make it easier for you. My phobia
you do that and I'll
is spiders. I don't know what it is about. I've tried many a times to get comfortable. I had a tarantula, if I'm even saying that correctly, probably not, on my hand. And you're laughing, I know, because you're thinking, he's so London, what a cockney lad. He can't even say tarantula. Yeah.
Tarantula.
Yeah, the one I didn't realise. The big spider.
That one. The big spider. The big spider. Like, I'm scared of the big spider.
Like the lion or spiders. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? It's like, if you had a spider, if it would be that one, it should be on the end of a lead, and no one would mess with you. Anyway, so I had one of those on my hand, and a couple of things about it. So, like, you can't move too quickly because all of a sudden they get spooked and their hairs lift up. They are literally a skeleton, so if you drop them from a height, they would die because they would crack and crumble, which I didn't realise. I didn't realise how fragile they were, even that size. And when it was looking at me, it has big teeth. And so my phobia, and the reason I bring this up is because yesterday there was a spider in the house, and I had to get that spider and throw that spider out into the road.
But not transless.
Yeah, it was big. It probably would. Yeah, there's probably one in the world that's that size, So I had to grab him or her, put him on the glass, tissue, cross the road, and I thought, where am I going to get rid of this thing? into my neighbour's garden. Yeah.
Across the road?
Yeah,
you had to cross the road. Has it got like a vengeance against you? Do you think it was going to come back in? It's like, he thinks he got rid of me, I'm going to come back. We know that
dogs obviously scent because they know where they are. They want to, that's my territory. This is my local end. I want to make sure I wee on this lamppost. I don't know if spiders are doing the same thing. So I had to just make sure I took him out of his comfort zone and threw him somewhere else so he didn't come back at me. But anyway, what?
Does your dog not go for it? Because my dog will go for spiders. Spiders, flies, anything. She's there to protect. And we actually was trying to kind of pick her up before she goes and eats the spider because I don't know what's going to happen. Remember the type of dog that I have? I know it's the same breed as your dog, but remember in the sense that, like, I have a dog shower. Like, my dog doesn't get dirty, and then, my dog's just not that explorative and wouldn't challenge anything of size to tackle her. Oh my God, I went absolutely mad the other day. I went absolutely mad at the kids because we went and took Poppy to the groomers. How much does it cost?
It used to be £60, but we now do it ourselves. Yeah.
Dear. Oh, that's an Instagram video ready to be made. That it might just be for the comedy of like going around with it, trying to groom a dog. But anyway, so I think we pay like £55, something like that. So about the same thing. She looked beautiful. She came home. I said to the kids, "Can you take Poppy out for a walk? Do not let her roll on the grass because I know that she wants to roll in fox poop and stuff like this." And they came back. She'd been out for like 40 minutes and she absolutely reeked. And then we had to bath her, and then she never looks the same. And I was just, that is a supreme waste of money. I was furious. I really was furious. Absolutely furious. I was like, I've only got one thing I wanted you to do, and that was to not let the dog roll in fox manure. And They really done really well this day.
I thought you was going to swear.
I was so upset. I nearly did. I was absolutely fuming. I was. Anyway, so do you have to do all spider related activity?
No, unfortunately, that's my task, stuff? Which is one of those tasks that I just don't want to tackle. But yesterday it had to be done because the spider was on the wall, and it fell from the wall and landed on the window ledge, and we could hear the dum, like where it landed. It had a body. Honestly, and I know that cats have got 9 lives. I'm not sure how many spiders have. Probably more. So I just had to make sure that, like I said, took care of it, didn't die. It's probably living in someone else's house, which is great because it's not my house, so it's fine.
I don't really have any phobias. I don't really have any phobias. I don't like heights. I don't like ladders.
Okay.
I don't like going up ladders, but I think that's just a healthy level of fear that somebody hasn't got the ladder up properly or something, and you're going to fall off to your doom. But like like some people are weird with heights, where if they were in a building, they're like, "Oh my goodness, I couldn't look over the edge." I'm not like that. I just don't really like going up ladders, because I'm not particularly handy myself. So I think I'd always feel I'd fall off and just like break my back or something like that. But I don't really.
So I
don't really have any phobias. I just get annoyed about other people's phobias. I tell you what phobia really annoys me is clowns. People talking about like saying, "Oh, I'm afraid of clowns." Nobody's afraid of clowns. What has a clown ever done to you? It is just some passed on kind of thing that, like, once upon a time somebody saw it, and then they were like, "Oh, I'm scared of clowns," and it's just been passed on through generations where people have gone, "Oh, clowns are scary." And now you got me onto a passion subject. And now this year is McDonald's 50th anniversary in the UK. All of the old characters have been there. So there's like Grimace, like this purple thing, and then Hamburglar, and like a thing that looks like a duck. I don't know what it was ever called. All of these like really old characters from when I was a kid who were used in McDonald's marketing. Who is missing from the 50th anniversary celebrations? Ronald McDonald. Nowhere to be seen. Ronald McDonald does not feature in any of McDonald's marketing. Mainly, I think, because people say that they're afraid of clowns, which I think is a load of rubbish. It's attention-seeking load of rubbish.
Do you really think McDonald's is that type of corporation to be like, we're going to pull Ronald McDonald for that reason? Or is there another reason?
Yeah. No, I asked the store manager. When I went in there, I went, I've got a question. I said, why are you doing my boy Ronald McDonald dirty? And he went, I asked the area manager the exact same question, and he told me it's because we do not feature Ronald McDonald in marketing.
Oh, because they must have some good data. Your fear radar must be completely off, because there must be a lot of people scared of clowns. If they had to take the clown away from McDonald's.
And there you go. That's the fear. But I tell you what, McDonald's 50th birthday, they've got a lovely.
I haven't tried it, but it looks good.
Which is one of their special. It is nice. Yeah, it is. It's a nice donut.
Oh,
and you get it
there
free.
I am trying to eat healthy, but who cares? Because it's 50th birthday and we should celebrate that. So
that's it. Well, certainly you should celebrate it with a free donut.
We should.
I tell you what, speaking of the app, this winds me up. If I'm going to go off on a moan, if you're going to kind of get me onto a McDonald's moan,
the points that expire.
What drives me bananas is when you go to
my brother found out yesterday.
Expire? I did not know that the points.
I don't know, but he had minus 2,000 points yesterday when he went to go and place his order, and I was like, "How do you lose points?
How do you lose points? I didn't know that. I did not know that." What really winds me up is when I've taken the time and effort to place my order on the app so I can go to the drive-thru to pick it up, and I'm there, and there's somebody there in the drive-thru just talking through their whole life, and I'm like, just order on the app, give them the 2 letters and the 2 numbers, and just get through the thing. I think they need a special queue for people who ordered on the app, who can just be like, yeah, my number, BX24. Good, move on. Go to the window, yeah, app order, that's right, yeah, and just get through to that last window as quickly as possible.
It should be like, you've ordered on the app, you go to McDonald's, you park outside, based on your proximity, you check in, and they know you're there with your car registration, they come out and deliver. Like, you shouldn't even have to get into the queue. Oh,
but you can do that. You can do that. You can do that. But I think it takes longer. I think it takes longer for them to come out and bring it out to you. If they did that quicker, I would.
You can tell I'm not pro.
I would do that. So I've just been looking up while we were having a conversation about Ronald McDonald. So apparently, Ronald McDonald is not used in marketing because it's about the controversy of targeting children in advertising. So it's not that people are scared of Ronald McDonald, but that he is so lovable that they are. It's like kind of that push for anti-obesity in children.
I think your
story
like is better, that people are scared of clowns. That probably, yeah.
I think so. Let's go with that. But I am going to look into points expiry for McDonald's because I've got
make
loads
sure you do. But maybe if you use it frequently, then they stay. I don't know the circumstances, but my brother just said 2,000 points he lost, and I was like, wow, I couldn't believe someone was willing to.
I got 35,521 points. So we're not sponsored by McDonald's, but if they want to sponsor us, then please feel free to do so. So if I went to so they've got different tiers depending on what you want. So if I was going for 1,500 points, I could get a side salad, a regular soft drink, hash brown, a coffee, or a regular McCafe, so any McCafe drinks, a small fries. So I could get how many coffees could I get for that? 5,000 divided by 1,500. So I could get
that's good.
23 coffees for that. 23 lattes from McDonald's. I quite like a McDonald's latte. 2,500 points is medium fries, a double cheeseburger, bacon mayo chicken, apple pie. You can make donations as well through that, or a veggie deluxe. And then the top tier, oh no, there's no top, oh, they put another tier in. 4,000 points, a chicken salad, a double sausage egg McMuffin. I'm not keen on the double sausage egg McMuffin. I prefer just the sausage and egg McMuffin. I don't like the double. Too much sausage. A McChicken sandwich, a McPlant, fillet of fish, or a Big Mac, or 6 chicken nuggets. And then 5,500, a double quarter pounder, a mighty McMuffin, a McCrispy, or a McSpicy. So this is interesting. Would you say that a Big Mac and 6 chicken nuggets are equivalent? I would say they were in different tiers. I would put them in different tiers, for sure. So you can tell you got me onto my passion subject there, didn't you? This is not how you thought this podcast was going to end up going. Was talking about the use of points.
I was just thinking there, you had me laughing so much when you was talking about the tiers and the amount of points. I was thinking, like, this has so many similarities to talking about the Olympics, but they are so far apart. It is unbelievable. We've gone from like health to not being healthy to being like points to earning points to keeping points to rewarding yourself. Yeah, God, that is funny. You made me laugh. That's brilliant.
Are McDonald's still an Olympic sponsor? Because they used to be an Olympic sponsor, didn't they? And then I wonder whether people just kind of went, "How can you be a sponsor?" Oh, it was last time. Tokyo was their last sponsorship of the Olympics. A 41-year-long.
I think that's a
Olympics
real miss.
Game sponsorship.
That's a real miss.
Ended early. You can't have McDonald's logos all over the place when you're on this thing about
it talks about balance,
excellence.
We should live in a balanced world, and that's what they're trying to promote. So,
I don't think they are. I don't think they are. But I think that we are almost at time. So, do you have a recommendation?
But it's not on the usual Netflix. Where I thought about this, people have to pay to use Netflix, so. They're on YouTube for the very longest time, probably like 4 years, 5 years now, maybe 4 years. I've been watching this guy called Matt Armstrong, M-A-T, not double T, and then Armstrong. And he used to be a BMXer that competed in said Olympics and challenges of sorts and would practice for those. But actually, during the pandemic, he started repairing cars on his driveway. And now he repairs incredible cars. So he buys them from a place called Copart, which if you've had an accident before and the insurance sells it off, Copart usually buy that, or they sell it off to the public, so they auction it, and he buys those cars and repairs them. So we're talking about the craziest of cars being like a Rolls-Royce Wraith, which Marcus Rashford crashed, which was worth £500,000 he paid for, and then obviously I don't know what the price was at the time, but he does reveal the prices he paid for, and then he fixes up to make good of them, and then he either sells them or he raffles them off. But just wanted to call that out because it's great content. He does it with his dad. His dad has the most incredible laugh, and you can easily sit there as a couple or family watch it because it is really easy to watch. So Matt Armstrong on YouTube.
Well, I have also gone away from Netflix this time. But I have only gone over to Amazon Prime. There's not normally much that I like on Amazon Prime. I don't really like Amazon Prime very much. I think it's really difficult to use. I think they really try and steer you down paid content rather than the content that you've got. And I'm also not a massive fan that they inject adverts in, even though I'm paying for Amazon Prime. But whatever. So I've just got, it's actually quite an old program. It's called The 100. And I'm about 6 or 7 episodes in. It's like a sci-fi series. I think we've got 7 seasons on it. About something's happened. I think like a nuclear thing has happened on Earth, whatever. And they took a load of people up to a space station, like an international space station. It's been there for like 100 years, 100-ish years. And they've sent down, and there's a problem with the ventilation or something like this, and they need to explore Earth early. So they've sent down 100 under 18 convicts to see whether the Earth is habitable. because if you're over 18 and you commit any crime, then you get what they call floated, which basically means chucked out into space because they need to conserve the resources. And their definition of a crime is spurious, to say the least. So somebody had too much medication. They needed more medication than their allowance. That was it. Floated. You're out. Just for using that. So so that's that. The 100. I'm about
Are you
6 or 7
convinced? It
episodes
sounds
in.
convincing, but you didn't look convinced.
Do you know what? I can. So it's. I think it's 7 seasons. I think there's 7 seasons on that. There's quite a few seasons on it. I'm going to have a look now and see how many seasons are on. But I reckon that I'll probably get like 2 seasons in, and then it'll start to kind of go off and be too far fetched, and then I'll be like, oh yeah, I'm bored of this, and that kind of thing. That's my main way that I work is there's a long running series and I get bored after 2 or 3 seasons. So so that's that. Well, that's it. So nobody mentioned the taboo topic. So can you guess what the taboo topic was
that you had for
me this week?
Yeah, I think the taboo topic would have been the riots that happened across the UK.
Oh, it's not actually. I thought I would go for something different, and I actually wrote it down this week because I thought if I call him out on this, then he's going to say that I was lying. So the one that I had was the high jumper at the Olympics who got out of the Olympics and his own penis caught the high jump bar that he went over. So I thought, when you start talking about the Olympics, I wonder if he's going to talk about this chap. This chap and his chap.
Yeah.
So it's a night, if you've got to go out of the Olympics, you might as well go out with everybody thinking you've got a massive dong. So that's that. So actually, my guess for you was the riots as well.
Oh, there you go. That's good.
That's fine. So we are going to be doing some Q&A episodes just to cover when Jack or I are on holiday as well. So if you do have any questions, then send them across to us on our email address, which is
hello@speakingofpodcast.com.
So if you've got any thoughts, questions, suggestions, anything you think we should talk about, then email it across to us. Other than that, that's everything from us. We'll see you on next Tuesday's episode. See you next Tuesday.
See you next Tuesday.